Yes, we'll be back from the break. You're watching Smart Means Business. You're a daily Kickstarter. I'm Andrew Baraja here. And of course, we are driving your business all the way. It's exactly 4 minutes past 8. And yes, Smart Means Business still in here. But of course, still to remind you that the Market on the Zabo platform, anytime from now, going to be in operation. Just about actually 10 minutes that are left for them to be operational, and it's quite very simple. You could be wondering, what should I do to be a part of this? Well, *292# is simply the USSD code that will avail with options where you'll be in position to actually that is buy bond securities for a fee of 15,000 Ghana shillings. Now the market's going to open at exactly 8:15 a.m. running all the way to 3:15 p.m. That is West African time, effective Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends or the public holidays when those markets cannot be accessed. But of course, away from that, you have all these other days to capitalize and make money. Something which I believe it's quite key and instrumental when it comes to your financial stability and growth as an individual. Zabo made this a reality, and that's why it says my money, my future. And Altix East Africa tells you, well, you gotta do something new for yourself. Remember, it is 2023. Now let's get inspired this Monday morning to kickstart your week as a vibrant entrepreneur as we get into our business tips and quotes. Yes, that is from our business tips and quotes. Of course, attend networking events.
This is something actually I've been telling my friends, people I associate with. You don't have to, go to, other places. You could decide to network if there is an event that is reasonable enough for you. Why not attend it? When I say loosen up, actually tell them to loosen up. When I say loosen up, that's what I mean. You don't have to loosen up going maybe to karaoke or something like. You can loosen up by networking. If there are expos you go to and exhibitions you go to, you meet different people, you share ideas. This is where the big people are. That is where the kind of, if you want to grow, that is where you're supposed to be. You never know the person you interact with. He may be like a prominent CEO or a great business person, or that is the beauty about networking. You get to know people, friends who can give you favors in case you need one. Because now imagine the company you keep as friends are not helping out. That means definitely the only way for you to progress in life is through networking. You go to these events, okay? If the entrance, even if it requires money, first, spend your day there, spend your weekend there, okay? Learn a thing or two.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the beauty about those events. What to know. You go to learn. It's just like watching a movie. Some watch for entertainment, let others learn in the due course as well. What's the purpose of watching and not learning out of it? So definitely, that is the beauty of networking. If there is an event coming up in line to your career, go and learn.
Go and learn it. Yeah, learning is key and very key. And also there was something that we saw into the beauty of learning something is that nobody can take it from you. During our Caribbean East Africa, there was something we were talking about skilling in ICT. And you were talking about teaching the basics from childhood. Well, this all comes back to our education system. But thank God, hope the new curriculum is going to be actually on point and it will give birth to children that are actually fully backed. Now, there is this video that was going on. I don't know that you've come across it on social media about showing you Chinese kids and African kids.
Yeah.
I mean, that video really told. I saw something that was really very true and so realistic, you know. Because first of all, the challenge we find, if you go to these other countries that have developed, actually, Asia, actually, let me say all the Asian countries. Let's go to Europe. When they are teaching these subjects, what we call sciences, they teach them in their local languages.
Yeah.
They don't teach them in English. And regardless of how you're teaching somebody, for example, you're teaching a child English, even you, the teacher that is teaching this child, there is no express what you're teaching to have a better way to transferring knowledge. You know, that's why in most cases realize, despite the fact that we listen to English, but like it or not, Mercy, and you love English, but attending a lecture, a Luganda lecture for something, and okay, probably somebody sorry, not Luganda, a Lunyankore lecture. Like it or not, you'll grasp, it will be the best thing you'll ever have in your mind.
Yes. Even actually,
like it or not.
You know, I have realized that going to church, if you realized most youth attend the English service. They don't want to go for Uganda at 11, probably they prefer the English service. So it got me thinking, so is now English for the youth, and now local language for our mothers, because maybe they could understand. And the hymns, kids do not know hymns in our local languages. I mean, you go to church and they're just clapping hands.
Yeah.
So it starts from home. It all starts from home.
Yeah, but anyway,
listen, it's going to be problematic, actually, if at all a child is learning all this from school. It has to start from home. What are the parents teaching the child? If it's Luganda, there has to be that aspect of Luganda in the home, at home. You know, you have to know how to greet. You know, for when you go to school, you have additional knowledge, or maybe the things you did not know to expand. But the language, culture begins from home. There's no way you're going to learn different cultures away from home. Okay?
True.
If you're Munyankore, you have to know Lunyankore. Imagine you're out there in the village. It's a shame for me. To me, it's a shame.
It is a shame.
It is a shame, really. So we have to embrace more of our language. And you know, if the new curriculum actually, I think, has that aspect of it, explaining and using music or something like that, using a local language explanation, because for young children, it is easier for them to recognize, to correlate the language, local language, with what they see. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So definitely, I believe that could also help. Anyway, another thing was yesterday someone told me, and they were like, regarding work, and they said, you know, Mercy, being knowledgeable is nice, good, very good, but the discipline, I think discipline is more better. They were like, I'd rather work with a more disciplined person than a person who is intelligent and knowledgeable. You can have all that, you can be intelligent with no discipline. Yeah. With no values, with no ethics. True. Yeah, so definitely we need to be disciplined at our workplaces, the businesses, the people we interact with. That is what draws people, you know, character, personality, you know, how you approach a person, your attitude to them. It defines who you are. Yeah. You can have the knowledge, but you are impatient. Or maybe, because I mean, we're living in a world where people are different. People are slow learners. So imagine you're telling someone that they're not understanding quickly the way you expect them to. So out of that, you lash out at them. You know, you have to understand
You have
as well.
to be patient.
Yeah, you have to be patient as well. So that is it. Just be disciplined as well as you have the knowledge. Be disciplined, have ethics, you know, have a personality that defines you. You know, bring in that you within whatever you do. That is what will attract the people. That is what people love. They love seeing you in the thing you do.
Exactly. So now, of course, as we wind this up shortly, you get to realize that teaching, that's the reason that's why vocational schools seem to be of great impact, simply because they teach in the local languages. If you go to Europe, most of the European countries teach chemistry in their languages. They teach physics in the local languages. I mean, they teach all that. Because if we take a look at the colonial times that we had, for example, let's give an example of Japan, China. These were nations that were under colonialism, actually. They were colonized by the British, but when they left, they refused to just adopt anything. And actually, these nations were no way different like how we were then. And it shows you the influence of which when it comes to development. Because once you have a united villages, you know, I mean, in the far remote areas in Uganda, you find that they actually still use English. And they use these complicated terms, and you know, somebody's losing it out, and people lose cases simply because of the English. You know, but if we are to have our courts sitting down in Luganda, a court in China speaks Chinese, you know, a court in Italy, they speak Italian, Romans, they speak Romania, you know, and so many. France, they really love their languages. The youth. So that shows you that once the biggest population is not catered for the right way, that has implications in the long run. So let us see something here from Dennis, that is the Honorable Dennis Hamson Oboa, of course, is the government chief whip. As we go through this, and we shall be returning to wrap this up.
Uganda joined the rest of the UN fraternity on 12 August to commemorate International Youth Day. The commemoration of the day is consistent with the UN General Assembly Resolution 54/120 of 1999 that designated this important day of reflection and rededication to youth development. The day was designated for purpose of celebrating the youth potential and taking stock of what has been accomplished in the area of youth empowerment, growth, and development. The day provides us with an excellent opportunity to review our interventions, reflect, refocus, and strategize for the coming year. Honorable colleagues, this year, we could not, as a country, celebrate the day on 12 August 2023 due to circumstances beyond our control. The theme for this year's commemoration is accelerating recovery from COVID-19 and full implementation of the 2030 agenda. The theme enjoins us to take stock of how young people's businesses have taken advantage of the micro and macroeconomic policies to recover from COVID-19. At the same time, we reflect on how we are faring in attaining the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, since the previous commemoration of 2022, the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has spent the bigger part of 2022 to 2023 consolidating the gains of last year, developing and designing programs aimed at empowering the youth and building their resilience amidst various economic shocks, trials, and tribulations. Among these include the following. 1. Initiating the development of National Action Plan on Youth, Peace and Security, consistent with the UN General Assembly Resolution 2250 of 2015. 2. Complete development of the out-of-school youth sexuality education guidelines. 3. Finalize designing of the National Service Scheme for Uganda. 4. Disseminating the National Coordination Mechanism for Youth Programs and setting up coordination structures at national and subnational levels. 5. Disseminating the national strategy to end teenage pregnancy and early marriages in Uganda. 6. Preparing the masses to understand and embrace the PDM approach to grassroots empowerment through mindset change. 7. Providing technical backstopping to programs aimed at holistic empowerment of the youth by implementing partners in the sector. 7. Previous events and government initiatives, such as the Youth Livelihood Program, has seen over 22,341 businesses financed to a tune of Uganda shillings 178 billion 388 million 438,729 and benefiting 258,953 youth all over the country. OWEP, whose beneficiaries include the youth, has been accessed by 217,969 beneficiaries, supporting 19,723 projects to the tune of Uganda shillings 127 billion 282 million 840,207 since their respective inception. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, we could have as a country done better, but we belong in the financial drought zone. We could not do any better than the call for financial irrigation.
Well, that is Honorable Dennis Amson-Boa, Government Chief Whip, and of course in discussions for that is empowering the youth and looking at in relation to the celebrations of the youth days.
Actually, I think last week there were celebrations of the National Youth Day in Kavale districts. The president was there, and of course he emphasized discipline, like we talked about. Discipline is
discipline.
Yeah. It all retraces around discipline. If you are a youth and you want to grow, it's just discipline, financial discipline, emotional discipline. They work hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
Yeah, so definitely there were celebrations in Kaval, and of course there was a signing actually also of the Afro-Arab Youth Council actually. They had agreements right there, and the signing took place. And of course, we are yet to see how this is going to progress for the people, for the young people there. As we've been the talk of years now, so definitely we have to wake up.
Absolutely,
we have to wake up. Everyone is on us. All eyes on us. We are the future. Everyone is relying on us.
Exactly.
So why not do something for ourselves? And maybe the generations after us will be like, wow, the youth of those days
had something to show out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, that is it for this discussion. It's 8:25, and still to remind you that the markets on the Zaba platform are on. Of course, we're talking about empowering skills, and these are quite very important ventures for you youths to really engage into. Bonds and securities, Zaba is here, and as we speak right now, the markets are already in operation. Step 92 hash is simply the USSD code that you'll participate with and buy bond securities for just 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now the markets opened at exactly 8:15, and they'll be running all the way to 3:15 p.m. That is East African time. This is effective Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays where these markets cannot be accessed. But of course, despite that, you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make money. Something which I believe is quite key and important when it comes to your financial growth and development. Zaba made this a reality. You will participate, and regardless of where you're located, you are still in position to buy bond securities. That's why it says my money, my future, and all East Africa tells you you got to do something new for yourself. Remember, it is 2023. Now we'll take a short break, and of course we shall be returning to take a look at what's happening in sports and business entertainment.